Fed jump on me, follow me, pull me over. I got a lot of money in the car. I don't know no dope in the car because we had a little spot. On his way out, he stashed some shit in the van. Say he tried to tell me, long story short, I didn't know nothing was in the van, right? When they hit that shit and brought that dope up out that motherfucker in that bag, I just seen a bag. I thought it was some more money. That motherfucking white boy went in that motherfucker, unzipped and pulled that goddamn square up out of there and pulled the other square up out of there. I'm in the back, I'm in the Greater Curry, I'm in the back Atlanta police car, already in handcuffs. I'm in that motherfucker like this. I'm praying like a motherfucker, but I'm like, the money, I can count for that money. I know I had the money on me, but I can count for that. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, these folks gonna have to let me go, boy. I ain't sitting in that goddamn car. What the fuck they pulled me over for? But when that white boy pulled them bricks out that bag, them more nuts went to my stomach. My goddamn heart dropped in my stomach. Sweat popped out that motherfucker. Pew! I said, whoa, Lord have mercy. It over with. It over with. That motherfucker goddamn police, two white boy come to the door, tell the police on the door. Hey man, let me get another shot of Hennessy. This shit gave me goddamn cold sweats all over.
Flashbacks.
Look, the goddamn white boy opened that door. He opened that motherfucker and looked at me. First thing I say, fuck all that shit. Don't talk where they say plead the fifth, don't own your mouth. I say, hey man, that shit ain't mine. But you planted that shit. I'm saying it right there in the back of the police car, so I know it's on camera. That shit ain't mine. You can fingerprint that shit, boy. I don't care what you do. That shit, y'all trying to frame me. I'm saying all this shit. They get hit. White boy say, shut up. Shut up, get him out the car. I get out the car, take the handcuffs out. He give me a yellow piece of paper. I read it. He say, it's a bag full of cash, 3 BLK. Boom. Give me the paper. The motherfucker say, we ain't gonna lock you up today. We ain't gonna lock you up today. I said, man, I don't know what you gonna lock me up for. I don't even know what that is. Otherwise, we'll say, hey, don't push it, buddy. Don't push it. I said, you got it. You got it. Hey, man. I take the goddamn paper and walking back to my van. I'm shaking like a car key. Knee weak as a motherfucker. I get to the guy. I get to the van. I had to sit there for a minute. I read the paper. Cause the way they pulled me over, I'm driving. I'm in you got the HOV lane, the fast lane. I'm in this big ass, you know how back then we had a conversion van for the music. So you have all your CDs and, you know, different shit in there. I got my seatbelt on. I ain't got no pistol with me or nothing. I'm riding. I see like in the, you know, you got them big mirrors on the side of the van. I see police, blue lights, but they lined up like the president coming. I'm like, God damn, they behind me. So I put the signal on. It's about 4 o'clock traffic time. Put the signal on to get over. So, you know, they can go on about their business. Them bitches jump over behind me. I jump over again. They come over again. I said, man, what the fuck going on? Then 2 motorcycles pull up in front of me. I said, man, what the fuck? I pull over. Seemed like as soon as I pull over, before I could stop good, when the white boy ran up holding a pistol on me. Get out the motherfucking car. Get out the motherfucking car. I got my hands up. I'm like, hey, man, I ain't doing shit. You want the door open, you open it. I'm not moving. He got the pistol. He said, take your left hand or however the fuck where they do it. Keep one open the door. As soon as I did it, he tried to snatch me out the car. I got my seatbelt on. I said, damn, bro, I got my seatbelt. He reached over there. He undo it, snatched me out the car. Boom, throw me in cuffs. I'm like, man, what the fuck going on? I ain't know what would happen. They put me in the back of the police car. We sit there about an hour. 2 white boys come search the vehicle. They hit that little thing. How Jesus say, why lie? It do tricks. Yeah, we live that shit. That motherfucker hit that motherfucker 6-4 bounce, squatting, dropping, that shit popped out. I ain't think that was in there. We ain't had no motherfucking, this nigga ain't had no work in about 2 months. That's why I was waiting on the Migos. Some of the shit was bad. See, what nigga don't know is, I was the last nigga. When BMF left, Brick was still 17.5. We had him for that number. When I left, you got any nigga in the street, the motherfucker went to 30. But it wasn't me. It was the Migo we were fucking with was hot. They was the real, they had it. Mutual plug. So he had the same number. Like all they had the same number. Them folk, when that man owned that bag, when they say you about to die, your life flash, you start boom, 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 boom. And it's crazy that you asked about my dad. Because on my way that day to go get the money they owed us, because some of the work was losing, I had done gave them the bricks back already. So for getting them the bricks back, they owed me the money for the bricks if ain't that never come in. So I wasn't going to no Vegas. Fuck a Mayweather fight. Nigga, I'm just saying wait on my paper. And my daddy called me on the way out there. He was like, you doing good? You all right? You holding in the road? I like, yeah, Bob, I'm straight. Everything good. He said, yeah, you just on my mind. He said, make sure you move light out here. Make sure you move light. I like, boy, I said, I'm always flow. He said, that's what I like to hear. He like, eagle fly high. Talked to him, he said, shit, I'm gonna be in the city for a minute or two moving around. We're bumping to each other. I said, shit, if I get time, I'll bump into you before I go back to the house. And it was just weird out the blue that he called me, somebody, you good? I ain't paying no attention. I'm driving, I'm like, damn, what the fuck he called? I said, man, I'm all right for the day. Go out there, handle the business, come back, and folk pulled me over. When I got back in the van after the situation, I'm talking about, I don't know what's going on. I ain't never seen no shit where a nigga get pulled over this much shit and don't go to jail. Before I could pull off, I get my phone. Like I said, we had them BlackBerry. Scrolling. I call my attorney, Bill McKinney. He ain't in the office. I told his assistant, give me his cell phone number. She was like, hold on, Mr. Stevens. She called him. He was like, oh yes, give him my number. I hear him on the, the loud thing. I guess you're on the other line. So I call him. I tell him what happened. He said, look, take the van, park it. Don't drive it no more. Keep that paper. Come to my office in the morning. We're going to get to the bottom of it. He said, but don't park the van at your house. Don't talk on the phone. I'm like, okay. Gotcha. As soon as I get out the phone with him, my motherfucking phone ring. I answered the phone to my boy Jorge. Hey, man, you gonna come back and get the 100? Click, I hung up the phone. Something didn't sit right with me. I go. At the time, I don't know if you remember the girl who used to dance named White Chocolate. But
she was in the videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her.
She stayed in the neighborhood Riverdale up the block. And my god sister stayed behind her. I go over there and park my van in between their house and told Nikki, okay, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna walk around to the front street, the White Chocolate house, so my boy Body Bag would come to pick me up. So Bag can come pick me up. And I'm going to the house. So I want you to walk around there and make some van straight because I'm in between both of y'all streets. She was like, okay, I do that. I said, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I get home, nervous as a motherfucker. I call my cousin, them tell them. My one cousin come out there and say, boy, you ain't tell them folk you gonna go to work, did you? Why they let you go? Ooh, cuz you can't do that. I said, nigga, you over here playing, nigga. These folk literally, he said, boy, he said, man, I tell you what. He called somebody in the police department to see what happened. Police ain't got no trace, Atlanta police, of the shit happening. Don't happen. He like, boy, them police done robbed you, cuz. You done been robbed, boy. You know that red dog shit. Boy, them folk done robbed you. So I'm nervous. The next day, I get up, I go to my attorney office. Take him the yellow paper, never forget I had a Detective Gene Beard name on it and a phone number. My lawyer called that number for about 2 weeks. Nobody ever answered. Talk to somebody in the Atlanta Police Department, they tell him the same thing. It's no police report or incident that has ever happened. That didn't happen. My lawyer said when they told him that, it triggered him to call the the federal U.S. attorney office. He called over there. Assistant U.S. attorney called him back and was like, yeah, this is a federal investigation. We want Mr. Stevens to come down here and talk to us and plead out the 10 years. So the lawyer called me back and said that, right? My lawyer. Now he just don't know. I don't trust him. I go hire another lawyer, Charles Bryant. I go hire him. I tell him what my lawyer telling me. He talking about, yeah, let's just go down there and debrief him and talk to him. I don't know what debrief means. That's what he telling me. I go back to my other lawyer who I wasn't trusting and tell him what the other lawyer told me. He said, oh no, we're not going to talk to nobody. I said, okay, I can trade that white boy in right now. He talking good. He said, we ain't going to talk to nobody. Let me do what I got to do. I said, yeah, man, I ain't going to talk to them people. He was like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're not going to play that game. I said, all right. Shit, 5 months go by. White boy called me back. Hey, they want you to come turn yourself in tomorrow. Now, this is December the 18th, right? My son's birthday was December 15th. My girlfriend's birthday, her daughter, was December the 18th. We had celebrated that weekend. We're getting ready for Christmas. You know, we festive. We done, you know. I'm like, shit, these people ain't did nothing by now. Ain't nothing happening. They tell my lawyer, if he don't come in the morning, somebody will be to pick him up. We don't care if he at his house, his cousin's house, his mama's house. We know everywhere where he be at. We coming to pick him up. So I'm like, fuck what I do. How I gotta play it. I'm sitting thinking, shit, do I snap this paper and run? Do I go turn myself in? How I play it?
So hold up. Let's take it back a little bit. Did you already get the money from Bad Boy before you went and did time?
What I had closed out by then was I got the advance from Jock First Deal. All us got our advance. I had to close out a pub deal. Me, Els, and Chris Flame. We all went to it's Sony now, but back then it was EMI. I had to close out a pub deal at EMI, so I hadn't got my checks. You know what I mean? I had done fucked around and got my first royalty check, but not my override check that me and Block supposed to split with my production checks. Zoe deal had already closed. You know what I mean? Got the hood nigga money.
So you was a part of that too?
Yeah, Chris Flame was my producer. Lil Flame, I was talking about, you know, Flame producer.
Okay.
Zoe with us.
Okay.
Me and Buck, which is QCP brother.
I know Buck.
That's who had Zoe. He was shopping Zoe. And I told Buck, we said we might get Block to pick him up. They keep working the move. And you know, when all that shit happened, you go back and Google and look, I had Zoe was my little brother. And then it's like all of them was, it just went crazy. You know, like Block got in Zoe ear and this shit went crazy, man. Like it went left.
Okay, so I want to get back to the part where you say you turned yourself in, but before we talk about that, is it true what Jock was saying about Zoe deleting his hard drive, deleting music or something?
Yeah, but it was a more or less accident.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But who can say if it was intentional? The way they say it was set up, you don't know what it could have been. It happened, but knowing Zoe, he probably drunk and the shit was just unplugging shit. You know what I mean? But then again, hell, Zoe know how to record. Zoe was down there, Rick from the Funk Shop. That was Zoe was working out of, right down here. That's really where Zoe put his play down at. Who owned the little Funk Shop CD spot. Mm-hmm. That where Zoe was at, you know. And we used to be there recording. That's what Zoe's stuff was done there. Zoe ran the studio. So for him to unplug shit by accident is a little iffy. Right. But he probably just snatching out everything. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But it happened, you know. Then on that second album, Jock didn't have no records. I had 2 more big hits on Jock. Mr. DJ produced one.
So how long was it? Was the album, was New Jock City already out when you turned yourself in?
Yeah. Hustlenomics was out. Yeah, that was
so
out.
The second album was out too.
Yeah, and I didn't do nothing on the second album. That's why you tell. I had the big hits for that album. They doubled back to me one of them records. I wouldn't give them to them. The records that would have made that shit pop. But by that time, you got to think, I was over there fucking with Low. Like, you listen to that Low song, dun dun dun. Add Chino, he know.
Right.
We working. Like, block, you got it. We gonna settle this. But I got to keep working, you know. So, I was on to Low, cause Low did the independent side, the Asylum deal. You know, he had Johnny Cabell over there, woo woo woo.
D-Money.
Low was taking investors to come in, and by that time I had a new lawyer. Chris Flame had a lawyer, Jeff Wooten, which was Shawty Low lawyer. And Jeff was like, hey, you want to dump some paper into what Low got going on? He just need a few dollars, you know. He doing the independent. I fuck with Low anyway. Me and Carlo, we been knowing each other forever. Yeah, damn right I do. So that's how that came about, you know, and it was non-disclosed. Like, you know, niggas didn't know. It ain't nobody business how Shawty was moving. But Shawty opened the door for niggas to get some paper, you know, and I don't know if he took the money, used it for himself or whatever, but I got my money back. And it created one of them situations where me and Low to the day he died. We were together the night he died. It was Jock's birthday at Blue Flame.
I was supposed to go to Blue Flame.
Yeah, we did Jock a little boom boom at the Flame that night. And Low was there. When Low walking out the door, he would say Chino. If you listen at the song, he don't say Chino, he know. He say Chino, he know. That was my boy. That's just how he like, but I'm finna go. Shit, he on the stage. I dap him up. Boom, boom, he got out the door. I leave. That's the last time I seen Shawty. But that was a nigga where when I was locked up, I called Low phone, that private number. Low answering that motherfucking jack.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, like, when you had to sit down, like, who really looked out for you? Like,
nobody.
Not just money.
Nobody. Ain't nobody give me no money. Money?
No, I know you was good, but I'm saying, like, ain't nobody.
It don't matter if you
reach out.
Did the point. It don't matter if you think a nigga good or what. I can't make no money. These folks trying to give me a license, dog. Well, some dope I ain't never seen before. Right? Conspiracy, and I couldn't do it. I went to hire Don Simon, man. I hired a dream team. I'm gonna go to trial. You know, they say the Fed got a 97% conviction rate.
Right.
That's because I have the people plead out. Well, y'all been had to ban me for a license, because a license in the Fed ain't like the state. Ain't no 25 years, 30. That shit a tag on your toe. If you gonna put a tag on my toe, hey, bitch, you gonna fight for it.
So, how long did you have to sit down before you went to trial?
I got the conspiracy thrown out. When I was at the day of trial, they came back with a plea. See, the feds is tricky. I tell niggas all the time, you got to know the law. You got to know what that little brown book say. In the Fed, it's mandatory minimums. I can tell when a nigga snitching. I can look at your sentence, nigga. I know there's a lot of nigga paperwork. Hey, boy, you told something, because it's mandatory minimums. With my 2 charges, one of them was possession with intent to distribute 500 grams or more of cocaine, right? That charge is a 5 to 40. I mean, you can get anywhere from 5 years to 40 years. But say you got a prior drug charge, they got this enhancement called 851, right? With one prior drug charge, your mandatory minimum goes to 10 years. It's no longer 5 to 40. You got a mandatory 10. If you got 2 prior drug charges with an 851, it goes from 10 years to 20 years. Now, I know it fucked up because you already paid your dues, probation or whatever, for whatever you did in the past. Remember I told you niggas set me up at the wing stand. That was one prior I had. I got caught with a little bit of weed. That was 2 priors. So I had 2 prior drug cases already. I ain't never been to jail or never been to prison. I already got probation. When it came to the feds, it don't matter if you went to jail or not. You got 2 prior felony drug charges. And them people on that count was 20 years. The other count was conspiracy. Well, with 2 priors, it's a mandatory life sentence. Oh, nah, y'all bitch gonna have to fight for that one. And so I spent $400,000 on lawyer fighting that case to not, you know what I mean? All I wanted was that conspiracy gone because I know I wasn't guilty of no conspiracy. The whole information was wrong. I didn't talk. The 2 Migos I was locked up with, they didn't talk. They had to let one of them go. And in all actuality, they let the wrong Migo go. The one that they saying gave me the money and dope was not him. The one who did it, they let him go. They kept his brother. And I couldn't find out they kept him because they wanted him to talk. But he didn't talk because he was connected to the big cartel that was our Will conspiracy. It wasn't them but a whole bunch of Migos, a whole bunch of SA that they confiscated like $60 million and a whole bunch of dope. That's when the dope price went up December 18th when they locked all us up at the same time. I was the only nigga on the case. But I was on the Will conspiracy with the 2 guys. Migo didn't talk. They kept it silent. I ain't talk. They ain't have shit. They let one go. They gave the other one 6 years. Wasn't no conspiracy no more because I'm ready to go to trial. They threw that shit out, asked me to plea out. First they asked me to plead the conspiracy, 10 years. Hell no, because I know what they're going to do. You them priors. You're going to use one of them. You're going to give me 20. Ain't happening. So they come back. I tell Don Simon, hey, man, you go in there and get them to get me to plead to that possession with intent. I take 10 years. I take that. I already been locked up 2.5. I take the 10. He went, he wrote the book for illegal search and seizure. He was like, if you would have hired me from the beginning, you would have been out because they didn't have probable cause to pull you over from the beginning. They can't pull you. He said, that's why they let you go on the scene. They couldn't lock you up. You had your license. You weren't swerving. You weren't speeding. You didn't have a gun. Didn't smell like drug. They had no reason to even detain you on the scene. Fuck what investigation they got going on. They didn't have right to search your car. He tell me, whisper in my ear, your first lawyer sold you out. And I found out why he sold me out. He was representing, remember that lady Katherine Johnson in the Bluff? He represented the police who killed her. So he was working with Atlanta police. They paying him to represent their police. So you got damn right. No, he gonna throw me under the bus. I didn't even get on the stand in my suppression here to tell my side. Atlanta police didn't even show up to my suppression here. They didn't come. The judge like, y'all want to reschedule? We can subpoena and make them come. He was like, nah. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on. I got railroaded. So Don Samuel was like, look, I'm going to talk to him about the plea. So they come back with the 10-year plea. I'm thinking, I'm going to take the plea. I get to accept the responsibility. That means you drop 3 points or so. I fuck around and maybe can get my guideline sentence. I ain't never really been in trouble. I ain't had no prison time. So I would have got 6 years. Come back, the 10 years included a 851 enhancement, one of them, which gave me a mandatory 10. I couldn't get under the 10 years, regardless. Judge sent me to 120 months. Like, shit, we gave him the drug program, 120 months. I looked at it, well, shit, I do 7.5 years. I got a long 5 ahead of me. But when I was gone, nah, ain't nobody do shit. Two niggas sent me some money. My little cousin, Hoffney, my partner, Juju. Juju worked at UPS, Hoffney cut out. Hoffney like my little brother. They work hard for their money. For them to send a nigga $200 at one whop, that shit meant something. My cousin Quet rolled out with me from every day. I mean, if I needed anything from him, it was there. But I gave him all my money and bank accounts and everything before I left anyway. So he made sure my kid was good and I was good while I was gone. Before niggas sending money, giving money, coming home to money and all this shit, man, listen, I came home and owe my truck company. I bought my truck. You know, I ain't listen. It was back to routine, and it might be the view that niggas think you already straight, that they ain't got to hit your hand. But while you out here working 10 years, making money daily, I'm sitting in this bitch and can't work. But see, I had an extra hustle about myself. I wrote my books while I was locked up. I wrote 2 books. That Barnes and Nobles, they went in store, on shelf, Books of Me, everywhere picked them up. I published my partner Broadway, Stewart. I published his book. I did a Late Out of Florida book. Like, I kept shit moving even though I was locked up.
So what's the 2 books you wrote?
A Hustler Dream, Grinding in Atlanta's Hip Hop Underworld, and 10 Rap Commandments. It's really a Bible to start your label, how to run your label, how to register your music. Like, everything from the foundation of setting up, that's what the 10 Rap Commandments is. A Hustler Dream is what I'm telling you about. It tells you about what motivated Atlanta, how Zone 3 is, and how it is in Zone 6, Zone 1. It tell you about the kilos. It tell you about what influenced us, what we did, and my journey of coming across how I met T.I. and Usher and certain influences in the music, being the G's and Gucci. It's just my journey from being like behind the scenes of who I worked with to help break jock stuff. The DJ Clouds, the Hersheys, it goes into DJ Dre's, and back then you had Ray. Ray had the Legion of Doom, going to Greg Street and Casper, the Hitman. It talks about all the real people that don't get publicized that really make this shit move. And those are the people that I always been good with and still good with, is the people like yourself that people might not know who you is, but you be an influence on what's going on. My book talks about that. And so I put moves together while I was gone. But as far as a nigga blessing a nigga and doing something, it was just one nigga held me down. That was my cousin Quick. He kids, it ain't nothing my mama couldn't call and say that didn't get done. And then like I say, my mama who raised my aunt, she passed while I was locked up, so I had to pay for her funeral. He made sure that the money got there to put her to rest the way she wanted to be. Made sure my kids every Christmas, he was there, one nigga. So I can't say that nobody do nothing, because he did everything that need to be done. But for niggas in the street, man, nigga ain't did nothing.
So my next question is, so when you came home, was Jock still signed to Bad Boy and Block? Or he was, like, what happened with that situation?
They would never sign them. They couldn't sign him because I didn't sign the paper.
But I'm saying, was he out of the contract with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had
so
been out.
That happened while you was locked up. He got out the paperwork.
Yeah, because it really wasn't no paperwork. So you notice that at his interview with Vlad, he was saying about his paperwork was right so he could leave. Right. So I let him go. I'm the one that could determine if he go or not.
So basically you did what Nitty should have did with Miss B.
Yeah. But I didn't have to. Jock could easily prove to them it's no contract between him and Block.
And he was like a part of Mastermind, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So shit, we got the contract. What y'all gonna do? You can't. So that's why everything crumbled. Everything. To this day, these niggas owe me. To this day, where my motherfucking money at? You can't get around it. It's like, but you know how they say the good guy always gonna take the hits. I don't mind taking the hits, bro. It's just like, I'd rather you win than to me walking around with a fucked up conscience. I'd rather everybody be happy. Some niggas don't feel like that. They gonna cross whoever they gotta cross to get there. And if that's how you wanna live your life, that's cool. But I don't wanna walk down the street worrying about if a nigga wanna pop my top. I don't wanna walk down the street and I ran off on the plug. I ain't never been that type nigga, Like, I done kept my name without a stain. When them folks talking about all their years, I ain't need to talk to y'all. I don't need I'ma do mine. I made the choice. A lot of niggas, they make different choices. They right to make their choice. I just don't choose. I'm a man. Like, coming up, my uncle always told me, you gotta live with them decisions. I don't. If you can't live with them, don't do them. I had two family members, bro, growing up, kill themselves. One of them his birthday just would have been August the 9th or the 11th. Rich as a teenager, young nigga. Carlo Long. My cousin Pete killed himself. Rich. Pete popped his top first. Then Carlo turned around and popped his top, right? And to this day, I never understood what made them boys go off the deep end like that, right? But I guess somewhere, which I know the same thing was told to them that was told to me. Decisions you make, you got to live with them. And I guess they made some decisions somewhere that they couldn't live with, and they ended it before they had to face some consequences. And it might have been Fed time was coming. I still don't know. But I always think about, can I live with the repercussion of the decision I'm gonna make? And I can't live with the repercussion of thinking I gotta walk around watching my back for a nigga to pop my shit. Some niggas can. I can't. And that's why I always kept business clean. That's why I ain't never crossed no artists. I ain't never stole their money. I ain't never, a nigga in the street ain't never brought me no paper and didn't get what he's supposed to get, or set him up and got robbed, or, because I can't live with the consequences that come with it. You know, when I got jammed up, I made that choice to go pick that paper up. You feel me? So when I made that choice, if it went right, if it went wrong, I had to live with them consequences. I can't throw your name in here. I can't get you fucked up. I can't go tell everything I know about this and that because of what I chose to do. And I had to bite the bullet. And just coming home, I realize now it's a lot of niggas that live for self. So I know how to carry niggas now. When I go in to deal with niggas now, the friend shit go out the window. They do their paperwork the right way. So we ain't never got to beef about it. We ain't never got to have no issues about it. We gonna honor their paperwork. Back then it was more or less, you my guy. They make this shit happen. I know because I'm gonna do right, I trusted you gonna do right. And niggas ain't like that. But this late in the game, I can't afford to see how a nigga character is. We're gonna handle this right from the beginning. Sign this, I'm gonna sign it, do what it is. And it's a fucked up game.
Right. So what's your current relationship with Jock?
Oh, we good.
Good. What about Nitty and Block? Y'all still got grievances?
We ain't got no relationship.
Grievances?
I ain't no grievances, man. We just gotta go to court. Nigga owe me money. I mean, it is what it is. It ain't no other way around. He know he owe me. It ain't like I ain't saying that. Nigga, he know he owe me. Why he ain't paid, why he don't want to pay, that's his character. Nitty, man, Nitty cool. Nitty called me when Block went and did the interview. Like, you know, he felt a certain type way. But we ain't got no issue. Like I told Nitty, he was like, man, you know I ain't get a man the song. I told Nitty right then, Nitty, you know I got the song still in my drive. And Nitty had to tell me, well, you know, people come up with the same melodies all the time. I said, well, I respect that if that's your answer, because that could happen. All I'm telling you is I still got the original song. I got it. I got all my old hard drive. Maybe you didn't give it to him. I don't give a fuck if you did or didn't, for real. But the point is, you can't tell me what happened because I got the song. And we just ended it like that. But me and Nitty ain't got no issues about nothing. Nitty don't owe me shit. When I got an issue with a nigga, it's about when nigga owe me some paper. Only nigga owe me some paper is Block. And then you got niggas like Puff running around here screaming love and do right and treat folk right. But you let a whole ass nigga you know owe a nigga some money in your camp and you don't tell him to pay what he owe, you flaw. So a lot of shit I just can't go for what niggas sell to the world. Bro, you let whole shit happen, you a hoe. That's what I was told. I don't want to see no man fucking another man in the butt. I ain't got nothing to do with it if he homosexual. I live your life, but I don't want to watch it. You watching it happen. So what that make you? Obviously, you like the same thing. So a lot of shit I just can't agree with that these niggas is selling to people. Because I don't need none of you. My mission is moving. Like you say, me and Jock good. I just would like niggas to be men. And you know you old nigga, you know you were wrong for shit. Stand up and be a man. Ain't no hard feeling, bro. I'll forgive you tomorrow. Right your wrong. And we can move forward and be at peace. I ain't got to do no more business with you. But don't portray an image you one way and you really a fucked up individual.
So when you had to sit down for that time, what would you say was positive about the situation? Just being out the way and just really getting your thoughts together. What was the positive thing about the situation?
I believe it kept me alive. Because when I got locked up, that recession hit. And I was having paper. You get what I'm saying? And niggas was working their moves trying to eat, trying to survive. You had a lot of niggas losing their houses. They couldn't make no money. Like, shit was bad on the street. So I would have been prey. And I wasn't going out crazy. Like, we gonna go at it. You know, and then it's the middle of, I could have caught more time than what I caught for hurting somebody. Because it was at the point with me and Block where I had niggas around me that right now still serving sentences that done wild shit. You know, they wanted to see by them that I was stopping. Me and him would have probably ended up hurt. You know what I mean? And both of us got kids. I knew his kids, he knew mine. It wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? And I know how I'm going to take it though. You know, even though he was like big bro, and that what hurt me to my heart of why the nigga I done put this whole motherfucking mood together. Yeah, you go do X, Y, and Z.
You did it twice. You did Jock and Enzo.
Yeah. Like, why, what are we doing? Why you crossing the niggas that's, you know, it was just crazy. Flame signed a producer agreement for a hood nigga dog. You know, the producer agreement got in there. We can't even audit and see what the royalties supposed to be.
I think one of Block producers passed away. Which one?
That was Dana. Dana he died of a broke heart, man.
Which song did he produce?
A lot of them. A lot of different stuff on a lot of albums. Man, I'm in Vegas. Big John, we had to deal at EMI. Big John push up on me. Hey, Chino, let me holler at you. We had the BMI award show. I step over, holler at Big John. He was like, what's up with Dana? He got placements on it? Yeah. He like, you know, he contacted us about a pub deal. I'm like, yeah, Dana got the placement. He was like, nah, but the problem is Dana already got a pub deal. We gave him a $960,000 pub deal. Dana say Block forged your name on it. Stole the money. Dana say all he got out of everything he did was $3,000. I used to listen at these cries that these grown men telling me. But guess what? Everybody that was over there is successful in doing what they do. Even his little partner, Rico Brooks, doing great. Look at Tamika. Tamika over there at QC. Look at Tomcat over there with Rick Ross. Well, I need, you know, like everybody went and became great. Zoe went down with Flow Rider, doing what he was doing. Like, I don't know, we had something that was special back then. And, you know, like I say, niggas ain't gonna be like how you gonna be.
So what's the future for Chino Dollar? What you got working on? What you working on now?
Well, you know, I had really retired from the music business. Like when I got out, first thing I did was open a trucking company. Got into the 18-wheelers. That was really to run up a quick bag so I can be comfortable, you know, not to get rich. A lot of people chase being rich. I chase freedom.